So I finished the storyboards for Hominin Tales. Now what? Well, technically it's just the first pilot episode, but not the whole show obviously. But this is quite the accomplishment. Hello, let me introduce myself as Emran Rizaki, the creator behind Hominin Tales. This project has been in development for let's say a while, and seeing it slowly come to life is truly remarkable, but given it's my first video with audio here on the channel, and also establish what type of show this will be to our new viewers. So let's go back in time, not too far back, but before the conception of Hominin Tales was even a thing. So sit back, relax, enjoy this announcement video. This video is also like establishment for previous viewers, so this video will help them a lot. When it comes to the pilot, its past, and future plans, I have a lot of store for it. Back in high school, the original idea of Hominin Tales didn't exist, at least not the form you see today. The original concept was completely different. It was an anime style, slice of life shows in the future where de-extinction technology brought back extinct animals, including, yes, ancient humans, who were a part of the scientific experiment. The main cast consisted of a Neanderthal, the main lead, a Denisovan girlfriend, a jock like Homo erectus, and finally a nerdy Homo floresiensis. Totally very different, sitting completely different, seems not even close to what I'm building now. The only similarity between the original idea and the current version of Hominin Tales is that they both involve hominins, that's it. Over time, the idea evolved, slowly left that slice of life format and style completely due to a simple drawing. This one. You may recognize it or not, but this was the very early development for Dorko. Well, he didn't have a name yet, but anyway. I went for a much more stylized and unique art direction to feel like it was much more different, and we have never seen hominins depicted like this before. And seeing this, I decided to draw all these human species in this art style. And that's it. For a while. Until something clicked. There is potential of having a show dedicated into the lives of human species closely related to us, and solely about them. And that's when Hominin Tales was born. Going back to the original Homo floresiensis design, as much for let's say chibi and squished, I wanted to exaggerate features like the eyes and belly, but I don't really want to, let's say, like just make them appear as tiny humans. They're their own species, they should be like represented as their own anatomy too, and not just like small Homo sapiens. So going back, they were redesigned heavily. They still had a similar body plan, but it's much more realistic in anatomy. It captures the features of this particular species like the wide feet and the longer arms. Stuff like this is very important because it depicts these human species that aren't really shown in the media, so showing them as authentically as possible is important. But again, I don't want to sacrifice my art style along the way. The storyboards took a very long time to complete. Thankfully it's over, but now what's lingering in my mind is that what software I'm going to use to create the animatics. If you're curious about how the storyboards were made, it was made on Procreate, a great app for storyboarding surprisingly, and I recommend it for any creatives wanting to make their projects. But now it's Animatic time, very exciting. The storyboards have no sound, which is not the best for the audience, but also many people have noticed that this is just mainly due to not having the original score or sort of voice acting yet. I just want to be more focused on completing the storyboards first and doing those steps later, because I feel like the storyboards are more important because they're like the building blocks, right? And like voice acting and music come after that. I'm planning to publish several animatics throughout this year, hopefully with smoother animation sounds in it. Now for the software used to make these, ToonSquid is my first choice. It's quite impressive for smooth animatics. I'm not 100% sold on it, but if you want to know any other better like alternatives, let me know in the comments. That would like really help me a lot. Also, the animatics shouldn't take too long compared to the storyboards, given those were like much more demanding in terms of like planning scenes and double checking for like errors and consistency. But besides that, yes, the animatics are the next step for primitive errands, so stay tuned for those. But also, we aren't done. Oh no, obviously the animatics isn't the final product. Now let's discuss about the full animation. The final process of this episode is finishing the animatic and completing the full animation. Fully colored, animated, and sounds. For this software, I plan to use two apps in order to create the authentic prehistoric experience for the pilot. OpenToonz will be the first option for both character animation and maybe background art, but I do have some alternatives in mind. I considered other softwares like Toon Boom, but I believe that's a bit too overkill for the first episode, for a show that's not even picked up yet. I've considered Krita for a while, but I would likely use that for backgrounds, which it does amazingly well, but it isn't for like proper animation software. It's like animating on Procreate, like sure it works, but it would be better to have like a program fully dedicated to animation. Again, this is my first time properly animating, so if any actual animators with experience know a better alternative, please let me know, that will help a lot. OpenTunes just seems the most professional given that yes, it's the same software that has been used to make Studio Ghibli movies, which will be relevant later in this video. I also saw the Blender for the backgrounds, especially with the usage of 2D characters with a 3D environment, if that's possible. It will give this show such a unique look from other indie shows. Polypaint made a good video on this. If you have a hard time imagining how would this look, I'll link it down below for everyone to watch. So yeah, these programs will be used to fully craft the show, just from the storyboards, into a full-fledged episode. But you may be asking, with all this hard work and time, what is the purpose behind this show? What is driving me to create this? Well, the main goal and message of this series is that we are all human no matter the species. Now you're probably thinking, what does that even mean genuinely? Well, let me explain. Throughout our history, we weren't the only species of human. There were the famous Neanderthals, Animatic Homo erectus and Heidelbergensis, and even the more bizarre Naledi and Homo floresiensis. And let's say Hollywood hasn't been so kind to them. What do you think when you hear the word Neanderthal? Dumb, dirty, brutish? This stereotype has been ingrained deeply in pop culture. With programs like Prehistoric Planet making the public more aware that dinosaurs weren't just monsters seen in the movies, I believe it's time for our cousins to have the same turn in Hominin tales. Showing their humanity, asking questions like what was the meaning of life for them, what kept them going in this wild world, what challenges they face, both mental, physical, and even existential. Because remember, whenever you go to a museum and go to the exhibit and stare down a skull of an ancient human, you're looking at that person. Sure, they aren't the same species, but they had a life, a story, lots of time, with hardships, joy, and questions, overall experience just gone. And we depict them as dumb and savage brutes who are just evolutionary failures, but in reality this proves all these notions. They had art, culture, compassion, helped to weaken the community. We aren't so different from them as we once thought before. So yes, that's the main goal of the show. So, I do want to clarify why, oh yes, early humans weren't just dumb brutes, but at the same time they weren't tree huggers either. The show will tackle the nuance of hominins and then as people. Unlike movies like Avatar, the noble savage trope is played out, here it's a bit different. In reality, we have evidence of early humans killing each other, and even cannibalism. Approaching this topic in a very mature way is important. Hominin tales will show the humanity in these people, the messy side, and the beautiful side as well. With my talent in storytelling, it's the best time to bring back the Pleistocene to life, through a lens of our ancient cousins, with today's science, in a way we never seen before. But besides that, this is when our Studio Ghibli movies connections come in. With the visual backgrounds, whenever I imagine the Pleistocene, it's always lush and alive. The nature in those movies are almost like another character, and especially since this series is set in the Stone Age, it makes so much sense this will be applied here. But I believe this section is beginning to get a bit too long, so I'm going to start the Q&A. Yes, I hosted one on my Instagram and YouTube where my followers will post questions about the show. Okay, the first question was asked by SandyNot 2.0. They ask, how many characters are you going to put in the story? Good question, Sandy. So we have Dorko and Ima and their child, that makes 3. Also we have, if we count the rival family who stole Dorko's kill, Uka, Ika, including their kids Kita, Nog, and Rog, that equals up to around 7 characters in total. This may be a small cast, but not only I prefer it over like a bloated one, but also given the episodes set around the extinction of the species, I feel like it makes sense, given all the context clues and storyboards, that they wouldn't be a big cast at all, it'll be more small. The second question goes to Skedadoodle. They ask, what program do you use to draw/animate? And do you enjoy traditional or digital art the most? Okay, for the storyboards, I use Procreate, which may surprise some people, but the app is pretty good for storyboarding. And which medium I enjoy more? I would say digital just because it's far easier, because if I make a mistake, I can just put the redo button right there, I can just push it, and also not need to sharpen the pencil or get smeared everywhere is such a relief. Okay, now this question. is actually the most exciting for me to answer. Apart from Homo floresiensis, what other hominids can we expect to see in the show? From @zebra3839. Well, all the other hominids actually do have concept art done already for them. And yes, they are public, you can view them on my Instagram, but I can show some here. At the moment, there's 9 episodes planned, with those hominids to be Antisessor, Habilis, Heidelbergensis, Naledi, Erectus, Denisovan, Neanderthal, and finally us. And remember, this is just concept art, these aren't like finalized. Some of them, especially the Heidelbergensis, like the female, they need some rework. They look really rough in the face, but that's fine, it's just a proof of concept, it's not like the final designs. But you may be asking, why only 9? Well, I'm only focusing on genus Homo, so expect no dedicated episode for Australopithecus, for example. So those were all the questions offered to me. Now, I want to highlight some fan art people made for the show. It truly warms my heart, like genuinely. It's so motivating to see people passionate about this project, and I feel like this segment is important for the slowly emerging fan base building up here. The first runner-up in this amazing piece of art is by Carousel. Simply, this is just oozing with life. Just the environment and mood so melancholy. I like to imagine this piece as like a headcanon when Dorko is too far from home and he had to stay in a cave all by himself until tomorrow since night's dangerous. It's simply a masterpiece. Go follow Carousel alongside the others. I'll link them down below. Okay, this is a fun one. Made by Debu Saws. The whole scenario here of Dorko stealing an egg from a giant stork is really fun. He captured the sizes perfectly. Dorko looks like a small hobbit, as he should, with that bird staring him straight down. It's really nice. Great job, Debu. It's very action-packed here. Good work. We have at least 2 more shoutouts to go and then we're done. Now, this is the only traditional made fan art here, made by My Hand Really Sturdy. It's Dorko lifting up a rock, but again, it's so fun to see him like draw in other art styles. I really enjoy the details everywhere, like the shading here like really pops it. And the little details too, like the neat little hairs on his limbs and how he looks like a floresiensis and not just a little tiny person. It's a very well made like drawing overall. Now for our final shout out, you may already know this person judging on my YouTube shorts. One of the first videos was technically a shout out by a YouTuber I really enjoy. But you may be asking, who is this woman? Well, she is Hannah Smits, a world building channel focused on her series Immortals. She is a Stone Age enthusiast like me. Like if you're interested in world building, history, culture, or just art in general, go sub to her, she makes some fun content. Also, Hannah streams occasionally, creating some awesome art. They're pretty active as a channel and sometimes you could find me on their stream, so go give her a look. Okay, now we need to wrap up this video, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you for all the support. The likes, shares, and just watching this video to me means a lot. Before I go, there is one more thing. If you watching the video, have any skills in background design, animation, or just want to help the project by any means, I'm totally down to work with you. The best way to contact me is my email address. It's linked in my channel description. Again, I'm not officially recruiting anyone at the moment, but I'm always open to hearing from people who are passionate about this kind of work. So you can be assigned to a role in this project early before I post any opportunities for my project soon. But besides that, I'm so ready to work on this. Hominin Tales was a pipe dream for me, but now seeing all the interest and progress I made, I believe that this pilot will be coming sooner than later. Have a good day. I'm going to go back to working on Hominin Tales. Wish me the best of luck. And make sure to subscribe, share this video, and like. This will really help the channel. Whew. It's finally over. Sorry this video took a while. I had to edit and like voice record. I'm a bit nervous. This is my first fully voiced video ever. So that's why I kind of like stuttered or mumbled a bit. I had to retake it. Hope it doesn't sound like that in the final product. So I just want to make sure, quality over quantity, obviously. Also, in the meanwhile, you can check my Instagram. I post sometimes non-Hominin Tales stuff like paleo art, fan art of stuff I like. Go give it a look. Also follow me if you're interested. Also, you can check some of the storyboards I posted, see how I can improve upon them, see any critiques you can have for them, because critiques are one of the best ways for me to improve. And while yes, ND is great, ND animation is great, ND doesn't automatically mean good. And having critiques is very important for me to improve the show and make it the best product as it can be. finally this video's done. It took a while, but it was worth it, you know? It's an important video to make. Well, I'm gonna go. I need to work on Hominin tails. And remember, no matter the species, we are all human.